Happy Monday evening, everybody. I have no idea what the heck was wrong with my with my intro tonight. I don't even know what that was either. Okay, we're starting out the evening with a bunch of glitches. But you know what? We're going to finish strong. Okay. We're going to finish real strong. Let me just say hi to everybody who is in the chat tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Got a bunch of you in here already. Hi, Bob Gray. Nice to see you. Moon at Noon. Mr. Gary Spike Sr., Rosa Jennings. Hi. We've got Jane in the house. We've got who else? Crystal J is in the house as well. Hi, Crystal. Mr. Randy Harrington, who is ready to go, it says. And let's see who else is here. Let's see. Oh, we've got Larry Newman. We've got Spiritual Odyssey is also here tonight. Freaky Geek, Mr. Shane Carpenter, Mr. Ozark Mountain Sasquatch himself is also in the house. And I know there's more. AJ. Hi, AJ. Good to see you. And Miss Cindy Bailey. Thank you. The hostess with the mostest, who is amazing. She kept us fed. She was part of the team that kept the expedition all of our bellies full. Thank you for that, my friend. And shout out to you. Hey there, Lenny. Hey, Brown Dwarf. So glad you guys could be here. Patrick Noble is also here. Good to see you, Patrick. And Roger Blair, good to see you. Anti-Venom, good to see you as well. And I think I got everybody. If I shucking it down with cornbread. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey there, Miss Dina. Good to see you as well. I hope that new grandbaby is doing fantastic. Well, thank you guys for being here. And I am not going to waste another moment because I have for you guys this evening a wonderful hour-long conversation that we're going to have with Miss Ann Ziebell. Hey there.
Hey, girl.
I had to represent again tonight, so my Ozark.
I'm loving it. Looks good.
Yes. Let me tell you, that was an amazing conference. I mean, okay, so we know that everybody knows the expedition was amazing, but the conference was also amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know that there are so many people out there who are so thankful that they were there, that they got to hear some groundbreaking presentations and be a part of an amazing event, both at the conference and at the expedition. And I'm in awe, girl. Like, you really knocked it out of the park. You really did.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was, that's the whole purpose of it, is to put something on that educates people. I mean, we could do like everybody else and have these big things with all these big speakers and it's like, if you're not learning something, what's the point? Really and truly, what's the point? So, it's like, at this point, we need to be sharing what we know and teaching people that want to learn. And that's the best place that we can do it, is in a conference like that. And the people that are interested, that want to get out in the field, okay, well, let's take them out on an expedition. Let's be boots on the ground.
Yes.
Is my whole thought, because as far as I know, we are the only conference that does an expedition with the conference.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what sets your conference apart. I mean, it really does. I mean, I put that in my Facebook post today. I mean, the expedition that accompanies the conference sets you guys apart, where you're literally, a lot of us go to these conferences because we do love the fellowship that goes along with it, right? At the conference.
Exactly.
But it's the fellowship is peppered in between all of these speakers and all of these breaks and concession lines and all, you know, so you don't really get the full effect of really being with people and I mean, literally fellowshipping around, you know, the fire and hearing the stories and getting a chance to really talk with people and connect with them on a different, on a whole different level. And you did that. The concept is amazing. It is got to be the first of its kind. And I am so happy that you did it. And I'm already looking forward to next year.
Well, I was planning next year, like 2 days after we were done. And that's just how my brain is constantly going. It was like I was looking at all the things that were working and the things that weren't working and kind of taking mental notes and going, okay, not next year. Yeah, no. So, you know, it's a learning process for us too, because, you know, I've been on other expeditions, so I'm taking what I learned from those and I'm trying to put it into here. And you do build these relationships when you're out there in the woods with people for days. It just, you know, they become part of your family a lot of the times, if you're lucky. And I have experienced that. I have people that I met on the very first expedition we ever went on that have become some of my best friends, you know, and we travel together and we go out and we do all these things. And plus you're out there, you're not only camping, you're looking for Bigfoot. I mean, it's a win-win. What's better than that?
Shane wants to know, does that mean we're fired?
Oh my gosh. No, it does not mean you're fired. I will keep you around. He threatens me all the time, tells me I'm not going to get rid of him.
Nah, you can't get rid of him. He's like a bad penny. He just keeps coming back. You know?
I know, that bad penny little brother, you know.
So much fun though, you know. I mean, it's one of the things that, you know, I mean, let's face it, when you put expedition with the conference, you're hoping that something is going to happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're hoping that because you're really hoping. Oh, nice. Shane says tails up.
Of course.
Always. You know, one of the things that you're always hoping, right, is for something to happen, some kind of interaction or evidence found or something. And you and I are going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about that. But I want to first, though, I want to talk about your vision, the vision that you have for the conference, that it is to be, you know, because if I'm understanding correctly, you really do want to bring the local, like a lot of local type, you know, I mean, local researchers, right, to the area.
I do, because, you know, if we're in this area, why wouldn't you start off trying to build a rapport with your local investigators? Because they're going to know what's going on in the woods in this area. And, you know, I mean, yeah, we could bring big names in from other places, but they don't know what's going on here. And there's actually a lot of stuff going on in southern Missouri, all across the bottom of the state. So, and has been for a long time. It's not just something now. If you go back and you check old newspaper clippings, you even go on the BFRO site and look at the reports. This has been going on forever. These locals know about it. I mean, good grief, we have a county named Booger County. You know, that's what the locals call it, Booger County. Why do you think they call it Booger County? You know, I mean, exactly. So it's like, why do we need to outsource people and things from out of state when we have everything we need right here for our own conference, our own expeditions, our own knowledgeable people right here? So we're going to pull from local as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. Which is a concept that not a lot of conferences are doing. They think they fly all these big names in that, you know, it's gonna make a big difference. But I love the fact that you want to source from every, the local community, the local research community. So you touched on the BFRO. So let's talk about that. So let's talk about your role in the BFRO. And yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Okay. Yes, I am a BFRO member. And starting in April of 2024, myself and Larry Newman will be hosting the expeditions in the state of Missouri. So that is a new thing I'm taking on also. So we'll be doing those. I've been going to the BFRO expeditions since 2019. And that's where I had my first sighting, was the first time I ever went out. And I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
I was hooked.
Yeah. How can you not be?
Right. First night out, you see it. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm
Let's
doing
talk
this
about
forever.
that. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Let's
about
talk.
that.
Well, I've always liked to watch the shows on anything weird. If it was weird, unusual, I was all about it. And I work with a bunch of women. And one of the ladies one day was telling me that one of the local counties had the police radio. They had got a report of a Bigfoot. And I said, what? At that point in time, I did not believe they were in the state of Missouri. I thought they were in the Pacific Northwest, like a lot of people. So I got on, started looking, and found that the BFRO had expeditions. And so I told my husband, I said, hey, let's go on an expedition. He's like, what? You want to do what? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I'll go camping. That was, for the longest time, that's all he would say. I'm going camping. So we went on the first expedition. And I remember driving up, to this, and I looked at him and I said, okay, we're either going to meet a bunch of nuts or we're going to have a blast. It was a little bit of both. I won't lie. But, we went in and had dinner, geared up, took off, and we were out in the woods. And the group that we were with, we'd been to a couple different areas that night and nothing was going on. So all the groups met up in one centralized area, and all our groups took off and went in different directions. And ours walked down a gravel road. And then we stepped off the gravel road onto an old logging road. And the gentleman that we were with, he's like, let's just go back in here and sit down. Listen, at this point, it's like midnight at this point. So we all walked in, we sat down, and we're just listening and looking around. It's quiet, and he did make the comment that there was a full moon that night and we probably would have no activity because it was too light. And some of the gentlemen off to my right-hand side start talking about how many people are in this group. Well, there was 10 of us in this group. We knew how many. And they were counting, and they thought this one girl was sitting one place, and her dad's like, no, she's over here. And so they start counting again and realize that there's 11 of us sitting there. And at that point, when they realize that, they jump up and moved toward it, and it basically was behind this little bush and rolled over this berm and took off. Now, I didn't see any of that. That was the gentlemen are talking about that. So my husband and I and the young girl that they were talking about were all standing there, and we're facing them, listening to them, watching, them all discuss what had just happened. And we can hear this noise behind us, and it sounded like a large hand slapping a thigh. And that little girl looked at me, her eyes were so big, and I just kind of looked at her and acknowledged I heard it. And I looked at my husband, and, and at that point I'm turning around looking, and I'm walking. I took it 2 or 3 steps back there. And about at that point, it stepped out of the woods. It was behind a tree, about, 25 yards. I'm just guessing. And it stood there. It wasn't trying to hide. It wanted us paying attention to it, not to the one that had just left us. And it would step completely out from one side of the tree, go back, and step completely back to the other side. It was not hiding at all. Now, the moon was full, so it's like you couldn't see the features, but you could just see a very large upright silhouette that looked hairy. And my husband at that point got the gentleman that was leading the group and brought him over. And in the meantime, there was another one it would be to the right of the creature that was standing out in front of me. There was another one moving around and making noise. So we had two out there, and we had one that had just left our group. So at that point, the gentleman leading was like, okay, we need to get up and walk out of here. And I was like, no, this is what we're here for. I want to stay. I want to stay. And yeah. Basically, I was told if I didn't, I was going to be drug out of the woods. Okay, fine. So we get back on the road, and we're walking back toward the other groups. And there's someone standing in the road therming us as we came out of the woods. And they make the comment after we get closer, they're like, you left someone down there. And we're like, no, we're all right here. And they're like, holy crap, there's one standing in the road down there. And it had followed us out, stood in the road, and watched us walk the rest of the way up the road. Now, I believe Larry was telling on the podcast the other night that we had a gentleman that was 6'2" or 3, and he went down there and they did a comparison, and that this thing had to be at least 7 feet tall or taller. So, my personal thought on that is we walked into an area that they used as an area to sleep, because the next day when we went back, the whole area where we were sitting was very compacted. And we didn't do this because it was such a large area. Because if you stood up on the berm and looked to the other side, there were all kinds of little saplings. And where we were sitting, it had all been matted down. And there was a water source out there. There was all kinds of stuff out there for him. My husband did find a track as we walked in, and there was a small mud hole out there, and there was a track. There was so much water in it, it wasn't castable, because it was so submerged. But I think we walked into an area that maybe that's where they slept during the day, because it was far enough off the road you couldn't see it. And it was all matted down in an area where nothing else was matted down. So something was sleeping in there. So maybe it was, the adults and a juvenile that, I don't know if we walked in on it or if it came in and sat with us. But yeah, after that experience, I was hooked, and I've been going every year.
That is scary. I mean, to think that. So when you heard it like slapping its thigh, and it's like stepping out, and how far away were you?
I'm not good at distance. I'm going to tell you maybe 25 yards. I mean, because you could see it. I mean, I could see it very clearly. And, with all that going on, it wasn't like it was aggressive. It wasn't roaring. It wasn't growling. It wasn't doing anything like that. It was just like slapping its thigh, like, pay attention to me. Look over here. Yeah.
Do you think it was a female or a male?
I think it was a female, and I think the baby was messing with us, whether it be that we walked in and it didn't move when we sat down, or if it was able to come in with us and sit down. I don't know. But it got up and left, and that's when Mama started making noise so that we didn't, I guess, pursue it. But yeah, there wasn't really anything aggressive about it. It was just
trying to get your attention off of the little one onto them. So do you think that the one that was down on the road, do you think that was also kind of like keeping an eye on you guys, or
just making sure that we were out of the woods now?
Out of the woods, and
yeah.
Did you hear it like paralleling you guys out, walking you out, like we hear so many times those
Yeah,
reports of that happening?
when we were coming out of the woods, you could hear something walking behind us as we were walking on the logging road. It was in the woods, paralleling us. And then once we were all out of the woods is when it came out and stood in the road and watched us walk the rest of the way up the road.
So what did your husband think after this? Mr. I'm just going to go camping.
Well, he didn't see it. So he is still, he's still kind of skeptical. He says even to this day, after his recent, encounter at the camp out, he still says, I know there's something out there. I just don't know what it is. And that's as far as he will.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's as much as he will comment is, I know there's something out there. I just don't know what it is.
Wow. Yeah. So do you think he needs a visual? That's what he's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take that.
It's gonna take a visual. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you keep having conferences like this last one, ma'am, then he's gonna get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If he keeps going to the woods with me, he's gonna get it eventually.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this expedition, which is part of your conference. So there was an extended expedition that began on Wednesday.
Correct.
Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Well, on Wednesday. Okay.
So there was
a small group of people that came and were there Wednesday, Thursday, and then the rest of us came Friday and Saturday.
That's correct. Yeah, I believe we brought in 8. I'm trying to remember, 8 or 10 people on Wednesday, and we brought them in. And we went out Wednesday night and did some stuff up there. And we didn't really have a whole lot, that night. I was up in the woods. Robert was down with Randy learning how to fly the drone. We just didn't have a whole lot that night. But now if we back up a little bit, Shane and I and my husband had gone out there a couple of months ahead of time. And the landowner was walking us around. That's when Shane found the holes and the stick. And we heard a knock that day also. And we were finding rocks where you could see where they had been sitting, and they had been picked up and moved over 6 or 8 inches, not flipped over and rolled away, because you could see they still had the moss on the top of them. And you could still see the bare spot. It was something that had not happened too long because there wasn't any debris laying there. It was just where the rock had been. So we had been finding stuff, and Shane and Randy have been to this property before and had thermal hits. So it's, it's a property that we know that they at least travel across if they don't live there. So that's, that's part of the reason we were there. We had stuff. But yeah, we brought people in on Wednesday. We went out Wednesday night. Didn't really have a whole lot going on then. So, we had dinner, just all the things you do when you camp out. We had a nice fire. We got up Thursday and, fixed everybody breakfast. And, that's the nice thing about it is everybody gets to sit around and eat together and get that quality time. You get to meet people from everywhere, that kind of stuff. We went to the airport and picked our speakers up on Thursday. We had Daniel Perez and Dr. Morley, brought them in. And, both of those gentlemen are just a wealth of knowledge. And so they camped out with us. And, Thursday night, I was trying to remember. I believe I did not go to the woods Thursday night. At that point, I was exhausted with trying to do everything.
Right.
But we did have people talking about, hearing little noises, things like that. Friday night, I know you guys came in Friday. Friday night, I know that Shane and Brandy and I and Chris were all up in the woods, and we heard some pretty odd things. We heard an elk bugling at like midnight, and we were like, I don't know that there's any elk. I mean, I know they have reintroduced elk into southern Missouri, but I don't think it's over there. I'd have to do a little more checking, but yeah, we heard some odd things, but we came back in. We didn't think we were having a whole lot of activity, but I think we actually had a little more than what we really thought. And then Saturday, we got up, we all went and did the conference. We came back, we had dinner. And, as we're sitting around the fire that evening, I know we were all planning to go up, and we were all going to be baiting the sassafras patch,
That was the plan.
Right.
That was the plan.
And then the storm blew through that, Shane kept telling us it was no big deal. It was no big deal. And we lost our cook tent, and Cindy and Marty lost their little tent. But the stuff that happened after that, hey, you know what? If you got to replace a cook tent to have an experience, I'll replace a cook tent, because apparently at that point in the evening, after everybody had gone to bed, we did have activity. You guys saw things. Randy heard things. My husband got to hear something walking around the tent. Brandy saw it standing behind our tent. And the next morning, Shane got up and tracked it all the way around the camp. So you can't ask for a whole lot more than that. I mean, we've got the trackway, we've got the siding, we've heard, multiple 10 people or more heard something.
Yes.
Distinctive sounds, wood knocks, and not the typical wood knocks. They describe these more of sounding like wet wood being hit together. Things like that. So it's like there was definitely something walking through our camp that night.
Yeah, absolutely, there was.
Yeah,
it literally went the entire perimeter, and everybody either heard something, saw something. Like everybody had a little piece of the pie, like a little piece of
me.
Except, unfortunately, you.
I said,
Shane.
I know, right? Shane and I.
You and Shane.
I said, next year I'm doing the conference first and then the camp out, so I'm not exhausted and I can be up.
Yes. Spiritual Odyssey. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that super chat. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, I do have some videos that I'm going to be putting up on the channel for you guys. So that's coming. That's coming. It all had to kind of be, laid out in a certain way. After Daniel Perez, after his article comes out and that goes down, I'll put up some stuff, because I was fortunate enough, because I was fangirling so bad. I said it last night on the show last night. Like, I was fangirling. It was like, I see Shane doing his thing. It was just like, it clicked and he's just going. And I'm like, I gotta videotape this. This is just like such an amazing moment for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, Shane Carpenter right now in front of me is doing his like tracking thing. Like, he is on it. I had to take some video. So I have some stuff. I have some stuff I'm going to put on the channel, but not until after Daniel's. I want to be respectful. I want to be respectful of everybody involved. And I know that Daniel wants to to get those kind of things out there. And then I'll put some stuff up for everybody. And so Daniel's article is for October is going to be focusing on your conference and the expedition with the Out Encounter. I mean, how amazing is that going to be?
It couldn't be any better. He told me on the way to the airport that day that was the closest he's ever been to one. He's never had his own sighting. He's just always went to all these places where people have had these experiences. And so he was right there, and he got to be there and experience all of it the next morning as everybody's coming out of their tent, saying, I had this, I had this. So he was so super excited, and basically told me on the way to the airport that probably over 80% of the paper this time is going to be about the conference, the camp out, the experience. He was super excited, and I'm excited to hear that.
Lenny, thank you so much. She says, thank you for your dedication to this subject and your work in bringing us the information from your camp out and encounter. Lenny, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I every single time you guys bless me with things like this, it really moves my heart. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to bring this kind of information to you guys. Researchers, evidence, data-driven evidence, and Mary and I've talked about this several times about how important it is, and talking about the research and being very, data-driven instead of just reaching for the fantastical right away. So we've talked about that. So thank you. Thank you, Lenny. Yes. So the Bigfoot Times, you're right. It's amazing. I put it in there. You guys have to check it out. It is a newsletter that comes once a month. And we're all going to be in it. I'll be in it, and several other people that Daniel interviewed. He had that opportunity. He was so excited. I actually have video of him kind of interviewing people. So I'm excited to share that too. But again, like I said, I want to be super respectful of him. And but definitely, guys, if you haven't already signed up for Bigfoot Times, go do that. I think it's like $21, a little over $21 for an entire year. It's really worth it. So definitely go and support Daniel Perez over there. Cindy says she just subscribed. All right, Cindy. Yes. So yeah. So so let's talk about your husband having this encounter and being a part of this entire thing. Does he have is it a little bit of a change of heart? Does he believe just a little bit more, or he still needs that face-to-face?
He still needs the face-to-face. It's not that he doesn't believe. I mean, and it's like I said, he will say to you, I know there's something out there, because he's heard the whoops. He's had things happen. He just never has had a visual. Yeah. And, he's just one of these that he's going to have to see it, which, I mean, I understand that completely. You have to see it, to believe it. But, he just keeps keeping on, he's ready to go. He's about got himself hooked on wanting a drone. Randy was teaching him how to fly the drone. I'm in trouble. I'm going to have to buy a drone.
Yeah, I'm upset. I can't even play a video game, so I have no chance. I have no chance at all of actually flying a drone, but I'm obsessed with them, though. I think they're cool as all get. Like, I think that they're amazing. So I'm always geeking out on drones and drone footage. You
Yes,
know.
yeah, that's too much technology. I don't want any of it. Let me go to the woods and do whatever. No, you are not leaving me at home, Shane.
That's not happening, sir.
It's
That is
not
not
happening,
happening,
buddy.
sir.
Just not happening. Sorry, it's a package deal.
I'll bring the bacon. I'll bring the bacon.
And that's what's funny about it. There's so many private inside jokes now,
Yeah,
you
there
know,
are.
just from all the time you spend talking to these people and
Mhm.
all these relationships that you now have and
Yep.
all these people that you're now friends with. It's just amazing. It always amazed me when we went to the BFRO events. We would always come home with a couple of new people. And like I said, we have built these awesome relationships with these people that, I just consider to be part of my family now. So, when you go out and you camp out like this, you can't help but build these relationships with these
Right.
people, and you meet just some amazing people. It's just, and I'm not gonna lie to you, you always have a crazy one or two. You do. It's just how
Mhm.
it goes. But for the most part, it's
Yeah.
all good. It really is. It's all good
Yeah,
and fun.
everyone was amazing. And, and just so that everybody knows, not only did Mary, you know, put the conference on, but, she made sure we were all fed. I mean, part of, that expedition and part of that was you actually made sure people had meals. Like I mean, it wasn't like, oh, you guys are on, like handle it yourselves. Like you took care of meals. You made sure we had porta potties, which shout out to every man that attended, because I have to say, every single time I had to go to the ladies' room, they were always clean.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank
Yes.
you, gentlemen. Shout out to every man that was there who was respectful of the ladies. Thank
Yes.
you.
Well, and there were more men than there were women. And that's the nice thing too. You go out there in the woods with all these men, and we had a great group. They were very respectful.
They were.
I mean, we're just a bunch of adults out in the woods having a good
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Very respectful. I mean, it was all really great. And I want to, compliment all the guys that were there because they are respectful in many ways, But we went on to private property and we wanted to make sure that, first of all, we were respectful of the gentleman that let us come onto his property.
Yes. Yes.
So, we camped in an area that he was so, gracious to let us use. We didn't want everybody going out and digging a hole in the woods to go to the bathroom, so we brought the porta potties in,
Mhm.
you know. And then as far as I was just trying to think of the things that I would like when I'm out camping, and so it's like if
Mhm.
everybody, if you're cooking for everybody, because sometimes that's just like you're flying in, you would have had to stop and got a cooler full of food,
Mhm.
and drug
Yep.
that along too,
Yep.
you know?
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
like if we can provide most of your meals for you and everything else, and all you have to do is show up and
And
explore,
mhm.
that's a pretty awesome deal.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I had that we had to, you said we had to have bear spray and our own coffee cup. That's it, guys. I mean, of course, or a tent and all that,
Yeah,
but I mean, those were the only major requirements. Thank
yeah,
you. And
you're
let me
welcome.
tell you, there's another Marty. Her name is Marty, just like me and Cindy, Miss Cindy Bailey. She's over there in the chat. Those two ladies. And who else? Your husband also cooked, and a bunch of
I
other
think,
people
yeah,
chipped
Chris
in.
Callahan helped. He's with the BFRO. He was helping him cook, and
Mhm.
that's the nice thing about that is, everybody just jumps in and helps,
Yes.
you know, jumped in, helped, did whatever. They all took care of the cooking so that I wasn't down there driving them all nuts. I could be out doing other things, you know. I'm having to learn to turn loose of certain things, and cooking is the first thing I have to turn loose of. So, you know, I have capable, Marty is actually my cousin. So she's gotten roped in by being related, you know. And, but she raised, you know, her boys were always in scouts. So being out and cooking, you know, camping, that's just second nature to her. So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, they were kind of like broke in on this expedition, and they're hooked now too. Even though, you know, they lost their tent, they had to sleep in their truck the last night. They had a blast.
They did. It was their tent that got mangled by the storm that came in. I mean,
Yes.
and they lost their tent. Everything they had in the tent was soaking wet. And yet we all wake up. We have this encounter the night before. Well, it was very early in the morning. It started about, you know, a little after 3 a.m. We have this encounter, and we're all doing our, you know, hunting down evidence, looking for evidence, doing interviews, videotaping. We're all doing this whole thing. And I look over, and they're already over there, like taking down the tents. I mean, they were like on it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I saw somebody walk with a cup of coffee. I'm like, where'd you get that? Because I thought for sure all the stuff was all. Oh no, they even made sure we all had coffee.
Oh,
After
they make sure I have coffee.
They still were like, "Yep, we got coffee." You know, I'm like, man, God bless you, lady.
Yep, exactly.
It was amazing. It was really, I don't know. It was an experience that you can't put into words. It's priceless. It was a priceless uh, adventure experience for me. I know for everybody else that was there. And thank you for coming up with this concept. And yes, that's right, Shane. Sasquatch Coffee. Sasquatch Coffee was one of the sponsors.
Yes.
So that's how they kept us in coffee all weekend, which was really good coffee, by the way. Now I gotta buy it.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go buy some.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it was an amazing, unforgettable time for all of us. And you did that. You did that. Yes, Shane and Randy helped. They did a little bit, just a little bit. But you put all of the moving parts together and you made it work. And I thank you for that. I am in awe of what you pulled off.
Well, it was some of the hardest things I've ever had to do, but in return, it was some of the most fun I've ever had too. You know, it was hard in some respects of, you know, just getting all those pieces put together and figuring how they fit together. But once you do, you know, and you're out there and doing all of it, it was just like, it was amazing. You know, I mean, I had as much fun just being out there with everybody and seeing them enjoy themselves and, you know, those kinds of things. So it's like, yeah, I'm definitely already on to next year's, you know, what can I do better? How can I do it different? You know, that's the whole thing, you know, and it's like, I didn't have one person walk away and say, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. Everybody was like, we'll come back next year if you'll have us. So, you know, that's a positive in itself. And, you know, I'm working on what I can do and who I can have and what we can work in. But I will tell you, the conference will be first thing next year. We're not doing it the other way.
So next year, it's the main thing you know for 100% sure, it'll be the conference, and then we're all going to go to the woods, right?
Yes, because there was 2 different days that I literally just passed out at night. One of them was Thursday night and Saturday night, and I'm not doing that again because I didn't get out as much as I wanted to,
Right.
and Shane does not have a trail cam picture of me. That's another inside joke.
I figured it was.
That boy is in trouble because I know where he lives. See, this is the thing you all missed was, Shane and I go at each other like this the whole time. It's no mercy. No mercy.
No. Mm-mm. But that's the fun part about it.
It is. It is. It is. It's like I tell everybody, he's like my little brother, I've adopted him. He's not gonna go, he's not going anywhere.
Yep. Oh, he says he ain't scared, but we know he is. We know he really is. He just has got to put on a front,
Yeah, exactly.
We know you're scared, so
he's skirt.
Yeah, he's skirt.
Exactly.
So, okay. So we know next year it'll be conference day and then expedition.
Yeah.
Are you planning on doing another, like the extended expedition and the like a shorter, like, are you going to do it in that same way, or is it just everybody comes for the same?
I don't know. Because if we do the conference first, it may be a little harder to do something like that. And we had kind of done, the reason we did what we did this year was we're kind of bringing in people that we thought were going to be a little more hardcore researching. And then the people that didn't want to be that as much came in later.
Right.
And, it's like, we kind of need to work that part of it out. I'm not really sure, I will tell you that next year, the conference will be on a Saturday. So the camp out is going to run through the week part of the time. I mean, that's all there is to it. Even if we did the conference on a Friday, we would still have camp out probably running into the first part of the week. So it's just going to kind of work out that way. But I think it will be better because we can do our conference, enjoy that day, go back to camp, have like dinner with the speakers, and have a chill evening. And then we can get up and actually really get into doing some researching the following days. Type deal. Because and like I said, it's a learning experience. We had to try it this way this year, and we have, it worked. It worked. It just didn't work quite the way I wanted it to work. So and Shane's on there saying, "What, a full week?" I didn't say a full week. Don't put words in my mouth.
Exactly. No. She didn't say that. That's not what she said. And Cindy's like, "Oh yeah."
I don't know if I could be in the woods for a week with these people. Are you kidding me?
Right. Not unless Cindy brings a whole bunch of bacon. That's the only way it's going to happen. Gotta have lots of bacon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Larry's telling them to gear up. Yeah. Yeah, Larry, and you can't leave early this time.
No, we gotta get Larry in there where he can stay and be a part of it too. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So what else do you have coming up? Are you going to be on any other shows or any other podcasts talking about your encounter? What's going on, girl? What you got coming on? Coming up, like,
Yeah, I'm not sure the day. Well, so, okay, in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I have a private expedition going out. Just a small group of people. It's a private one that we're doing. Several of them have already been before, and so it's a group of people that have been before. I have a couple of gentlemen coming in from North Carolina that are going to be speaking. one of them's an ex-FBI, and they track and, do survival. So it'll be kind of fun to be out with them and see how they do things differently. And then, we don't have a definite date yet, but either sometime in November, December, I'm doing the Blondes and Booze podcast with Krista and Brandy. So I'm doing that one. And then the other couple of nights ago, I did a podcast with Larry Newman, and he's on with Jim Peters at night.
That was really good. I saw that. It was a really good interview.
Thank you. We did that one with Daniel. So that's about all, I'm sure I'll find something else to do. It just seems to be, rolling. It's like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we need you to do this or that, or, So once I get all that.
So if anybody is interested on going out on any of your expeditions that your private expeditions, like, is there an email they can email you, or is there a way for them to reach out to you?
They can always go on the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot conference page and reach out to me in Messenger. We can do that. And like I said, in the spring and April, Larry and I'll be hosting. The BFRO will be putting that up on their website probably here in the next month or so. People can, if they want to do that, we're going to definitely do one in the spring and probably one in the fall with that also. That's the goal right now, is to be able to do at least 2 BFRO a year, the conference, and I don't know, whatever else I can stick in there. I'm trying.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming and being here with me tonight. And I can't wait for next year. I just know, I know it's going to be bigger next year. And then eventually you're going to have to get a bigger venue. You're going to have to plan on that eventually, girl.
That's what they keep telling me. And we will, when we outgrow where we're at, we will move into a bigger one. And, but as far as the camp out, it's always going to stay the same size. We know we can handle this. We don't want to overload the property that we go on to. We want to be very respectful of them. So everybody just needs to know that when we announce these expeditions, they're limited. They are going to be very limited. So it's something that you're going to have to, make a decision on pretty quickly if you want to be in the campouts that we do.
Yeah, you can't wait till the last second and be like, "Oh yeah, I think I might." No, don't do that. Don't do that. Because I don't know. I think I bought my plane ticket. I don't even know how many months ago. I booked my plane ticket like months and months and months ago. Because don't wait till the last second, folks. So keep an eye on, if you don't already follow the page, the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference and Expedition. It's a Facebook page that you have, right, Marianne?
Yes.
Yeah. So make sure that you guys go and follow that page, because that's where she's going to be announcing everything.
Yes, we're working on a website also, but for right now, it's just a Facebook page.
Yeah. So make sure you guys go over, follow the page. Because there were a couple of people that had reached out to me, I think like a couple of days before I left. And I was like, you can reach out to Marianne, but I don't think there's anything available.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And, like I said, and, we were playing with the numbers too, to figure out, because we don't want to have so many. I have gone to expeditions that have had 50 and 60 people, and I don't know. It's just too many people out there. And I can't imagine being the coordinator and trying to keep up with that many people, knowing where they're at and what they're doing type thing, because. So I think our final total out there, and that was, everybody was, I think we had 38 people. So, we won't ever be going over them.
Yeah, that included, like Cindy and Marty and like the people
Yes.
that were actually doing the cooking for us and who were actually they were like tending to all of our needs, like that included them. So it was small, but I have to say I really feel like that is a key factor to also our encounter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I
Yes.
feel like that keeping it small really did play you know, a factor in that, where there was enough of us for them to be super curious, but not too many for them to feel overwhelmed and like, oh no, I don't want to go down there or and go in there. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And we were kind of staying with the same routine of, eat dinner, go sit by the campfire. Maybe we went out, or part of us went out, part of us went to sleep. That kind of went on every night. So it was like we established a routine pretty quickly, and they knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And and us camping up against that creek, uh, that dry creek bed, you could hear stuff all night long. So I think they walked up and down, checked us out. They were in the vicinity. I'm not sure if you saw Richard's drone footage. He's got a couple of pictures that very well could be something
Mhm.
sitting back in the edge of the woods watching us.
Yeah.
So,
Richard is actually going to be coming on the show next
okay,
week.
okay.
And so I was hoping maybe he would, you know, play that footage for us, that thermal footage he took. And
Hmm.
so hopefully we'll be able to share that.
Yeah, because he's got some interesting stuff. I
Hmm.
was looking at that going, okay, that's definitely something there.
Compelling.
Hmm. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's and the gentleman, he actually asked us to come back next year to that spot. He loved us. I mean, we fed him every day.
That's true. He was amazing, though. I appreciated the fact that he would come down and he would spend time with all of us and talk to each one of us and meeting everybody. And I really enjoyed, him and his presence, being there and enjoying him. I mean, I was picking his brain and asking all kinds of questions, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I have been to a couple of different expeditions with him, and he's such a good guy. I was talking about Richard, but yes, the gentleman that owns the property is such a good guy too. He is so knowledgeable about things. Um, it was amazing, some of the stuff he'd come and talk about and show us. And even the day that he was walking Shane and I and Robert around, he's just a
Mhm.
wealth of knowledge, out there. So it's kind of nice to sit and talk to him. You always learn something.
Yeah. So saying says, thanks for letting us tag along. Great job. Hard work pays. Big props to you, Mary. You did a great job. And the trail cam pick will cost you $300
Or a pound of bacon.
or a pound of bacon or the whole hog. We don't know. We're not sure yet, but it might
Right?
be the whole hog. I don't
It might
know.
be the whole hog at this point. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, thank you
Um,
so much for being here with me tonight. Thank
well,
you
thank you
for
for having me.
Yeah, anytime, anytime. When you're getting ready to do your expeditions and you need to promote them, please reach on out to me. I'll have you on. We can get some of your team members, Larry,
I bet
to
we could
come
get
on.
Larry on here. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to get Larry on.
yeah. We can get
Larry.
Larry. Yep, there he is.
Of course. I had such a great time. I did. It was amazing. It was so much fun to meet everybody, you especially. Um, so yeah, Larry, you gotta come on. You gotta come on my show. Gotta come on my show. Please. I'll get you some bacon. I'll bring you some bacon. I'll ship you bacon.
Larry's got homegrown bacon.
Yeah. Cindy, you'll see me. Don't worry. You're going to see me.
Yeah, I'm taking Cindy and Marty out into the woods again in 2 weeks, you know.
Ooh. So I'll be there in spirit because it'll be the other Marty, but it'll be a Marty. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, we'll make sure and share pictures. The private expedition that we're doing in 2 weeks is in an area that we have went to several times and had lots of experiences there. We've had them in our campground there. So we're headed back out there to spend some time and, see people we haven't seen in a while and see what else we can come up with.
Yeah. Wow. You've got, I don't even know how you're going to have time to even plan the 3rd annual Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference and Expedition for 2024 because you've got all these other things going on, but you are amazing.
Well, thank you.
You are amazing. So rock on, sister. Rock on.
I'm trying.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a second to hang out for me for me just while I say goodnight to everybody? All right. I'll see you backstage in just a second. All right. Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Mary.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I don't know about you guys, but you better mark your calendars for next year. Okay. It'll be probably in September, but y'all better pay attention way before then. I believe this year's deadline, I think everybody's applications had to be in by July 1st. So make sure you guys follow that page, okay? Do not forget that. Let me put in the chat one more time, Daniel Perez. That is the website to go to sign up for the Bigfoot Times. Daniel Perez, like I said, he was one of the speakers. We talked about him tonight. He was one of the speakers who was at the conference. He documented our encounter. And pretty much the entire, if I understand it correctly, the entire October issue is going to be full of talking about Mary's conference, the expedition, and the encounter, and don't want to miss it. And I think it's only like a little over $20 for an entire year. So you get 12 newsletters that come to you in the mail. They're in print, so you get them in your hands. You can actually read it, and it's amazing. Sometimes it's nice to have something holding in your hands while you read it, right? Not just on a phone. So definitely sign up for that, guys. Thank you all for being here tonight. Again, hold on one moment. Sorry, guys. Now let's hope my outro doesn't mess up like my intro did, but please remember, everybody, to spread love and kindness wherever you go.